We're starting some new technical equipment, so bear with us if there's any glitches. So let's begin in seated position, and coming on to our mats, we'll find our seats and find the natural curves of the spine and just sort of wriggle into it and reaching up through the crown and then rolling the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. It can be kind of small to start with. And then in the opposite direction, rolling the shoulders. And coming into our practice and allowing the innate breath to come into the body and the heart to stabilize. And bring one hand, your right hand to your heart and your left hand to your belly. And close the eyes and take a 4-7-8 breath. Inhale, count of 4. Hold. Exhale, 8. Inhale, 4. Hold, 7. Exhale, 8. On your own. And flutter the eyes open and bring the arms out to the side and slowly on an inhale up and overhead, palms touch and side bend to the right, reaching through the left arm and gazing up at the inner left elbow, turning the head, heavy the left sits bone, and twist to the left. Bring the right hand to the left knee. Keep the right shoulder back and down and twist. On an inhale, reaching through the crown, twisting just slightly more. And then we'll bring the left hand around to the right knee. And you can lift the knees and round the spine back, tuck the chin in. And then open, inhale, open the heart, lift the gaze. And return back to center. Switch the cross of your legs. And we'll take the arms up and overhead. Inhale. And side bend to the right. Reaching, turning the head. The left shoulder away from the ear. And twist to the right. Left hand to the right knee. Right hand behind. Reach through the crown of the head. Turn the head. And crossing the right arm over to the left knee. Round the spine back. Chin towards the chest. Feeling an opening in the back of the neck. Inhale, open it up. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. And we'll come back to center. So today's peak pose will be a cow face pose. And we'll be working towards that slowly. Bring the legs out feet about wider than hip width apart, about a shin's length between the feet. The knees still up in the air. And really keep the heart lifted so that the back isn't collapsing. And windshield wiper over to the right, lift the left hip, and over to the left. And press the right hip up and forward. And then over to the right again. And bring the left arm all the way around for a twisted cobra. Lifting up onto the hands, pressing out. Trying to even square the chest towards the front of the mat or the side of the mat. And bring it around all the way to the other side. And we're just lifting up and out, pressing with the arms, twisted cobra. And coming back to center, cross the legs and find all fours, tabletop. And inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And extend the left leg on the mat and press the foot. Press back with the left toes tucked, using the strength of your arms and keeping the natural curves of the spine. And then lift the left leg to hip height and extend the right arm forward, rising up out of the left shoulder, reaching from fingertip to toe tip, really extending and breathing, steady. Bend the left leg and take the ankle with the right hand and lift up, pressing the foot into the hand, arching the spine, lift the gaze, breathing deeply. You can have the right toes tucked if that helps stabilize your pose. And reaching out again with the right arm and the left leg. Bring the right arm down and swing the left leg out to the side so that the toes are pointed forward and the left foot is about even with the right knee, maybe a little forward. And shift the hips back. If you have a block, it's handy to just set that down to the right. Shift the hips back and interlace the fingers and then extend the pointer fingers in Kali Mudra, rising up to gate pose. And reaching through the crown, reaching through the arms, and then release the left hand to the left leg, just gently, maybe just the fingertips, and extend and side bend the whole right side of the body. Press the hips forward a little bit. And then bring the right hand down to your block or the floor and extend the left arm out and over the head. Gaze up at the inner left elbow. Keep the left foot pressing into the floor and the hips pressing forward. And then windmill the left arm back and down to the floor again. And come to all fours. And just inhale, cat. And exhale, cow. And tuck the right toes. Stretch the back of the right leg, pressing with the arms. And lift the right leg to hip height. Rising up out of the right shoulder, extend the left arm. Reaching fingertips to toe tips. Again, the left toes can be tucked or extended. And bending the right leg. Catch the ankle with the left hand and lift up, pressing the foot into the hand. Even opening the left shoulder a little, even as the chest is squared forward. And press up out of the right shoulder. Breathe, lifting, rising up. And extend the arm and leg again. Reaching, and take the left arm to the floor and swing the right leg out to the side. The heel of the right foot is aligned with the left knee. And take your block, if you used it before, bring it to the left and shift the hips back and interlace the opposite way and extend the pointer fingers in Kali Mudra. Reaching up, gazing up, trying to square the hips forward. This feels a little awkward in the right hip, but it's really a good hip opener. And then release the right arm to the right leg, just gently, not pressing into the right leg, and extending up through the left arm, whole left side of the body, stretching, and release the left hand to the floor of the block, and extend the right arm out and over. Turn the head to gaze up at the inner right elbow, and reach. Pressing the hips forward again. We're stacked right over the left knee. And windmill the arm down to the floor. And we'll come back to all fours. And just sit back into child's pose just for a moment and take a breath. And then tuck the toes and rise up into down dog. Pedal the feet out. And then rising way up onto the toes, lift the hips as high as possible, even as you're pressing the chest through the arms. And then release the heels toward the floor. They may not reach it, but release. And come out into a plank pose. Strong plank, pressing up out of the shoulders and breathing here. We'll just take 3 deep breaths here. Strong legs. And lifting the hips back to down dog. Pressing through the arms. Chest comes through the arms. And inhale back to plank pose. And either lower the right knee to the floor or just tip onto the side of your feet. And lift the left arm up in the air for side plank. Maybe you can even gaze up at the left hand. Can always lower the knee anytime you need to. And bring the left arm down and around to plank pose again. Strong plank, establish your base. And tip onto the left side. And lift the right arm up in the air, gazing up. Breathing deeply. And bring the right arm up and over to the floor again. And lower the knees to the floor together. And sit back into child's pose. And if your forehead doesn't come to the floor, you can stack your palms face down under your forehead and rest your forehead on the backs of the hands. And extending the arms back out again, tucking the toes, we rise up to down dog. And we'll step the left leg forward, so lift it up in the air first. And bring the left knee to chest and step through. Low lunge. And we'll even bring the left foot out to the side of the mat and bring the left arm inside the left leg for lizard lunge. And gazing out at the front of the mat, can release the right knee to the floor and sinking the hips forward, bending the elbows, maybe walking the hands forward a little bit. Keep the left arm and the left knee touching. Sinking down, keeping the neck comfortable. And we'll tuck the right toes and scoot the right knee forward a little. If you need a blanket for under your knee, we rise up, making a square with our legs and lifting the right arm high in the air and turning and slicing across, twist to the left. Palms together, making one line with the forearms. Can tuck the right toes for stability, or you can really arch the right foot and place the top of the toes on the floor. It's a little bit different feeling. Gazing up over the left shoulder, extending through the crown of the head on the inhale, and twisting a little bit more on the exhale. And releasing the twist. Hands to the floor, framing the foot. And tuck the right toes and step forward. Feet are hip distance apart. And we haven't done this much, but we'll take a standing split. So lift the left leg up in the air. And the right hand comes to the floor or block. Left hand to the floor or block. And open the left hip, pointing the left toe with strong left legs. Maybe lifting the left leg a little higher. And then squaring the hips back down. Bring the left foot hip distance away from the right. And coming into a half lift with the palms on the shins or even the thighs. Extending through the crown of the head. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And bend the knees deeply and come into a forward fold. Release the neck and the head and just plaster your torso on the thighs. You can use the strength of the arms to pull in a little bit. And maybe if this is feeling very comfortable today, you can begin to straighten the knees Release the neck and the head. Keep breathing. And rising up, step the right foot back. Step the left foot back to down dog. Find your down dog. And then step the feet back a half a footprint or a full footprint back, farther than usual. For a very long down dog, keep lifting the hips way up in the air, even as you release the heels to the floor. And lift the fingers up so that you're really pressing the palms into the floor, and then release the fingers down again. Breathing here, the long down dog. And then step back into your natural down dog and lift the right leg up in the air. Bring the right knee to chest and step it through. Outside the right arm, you can step the left foot out a little bit further so that the legs are very wide. Strong left leg, reaching, extending, and then lower the left knee to the floor, sinking the hips down and bending the elbows maybe a little bit. Keep the right knee and the right shoulder together and walk the hands forward for lizard lunge. Breathing here. Keep releasing the hips down, keeping the shoulders away from the ears and the neck comfortable. And then walking the hands back in, we'll rise up. Bring the left knee forward a little so that we're making a square with the legs and rising up, lifting the arms up, right hand to right hip and twist to the right and slice across with the left arm. One long line, palms together, making a line with the arms. And then turn the head to gaze over the right shoulder and tuck the toes, the left toes, or arch the bottom of the foot and place the top of the toes on the floor. Breathing deeply. Keep that left shoulder back and down. Tends to want to just collapse in these twists. And we'll come back to the center, palms to the floor. Tuck the left toes and step the left foot forward, then lift the right leg high in the air for standing splits and open the hip to the side even as you're reaching and pointing through the right leg. You can try taking the back of your left ankle with the left hand and release the neck so that the gaze is down at your foot. Keep strengthening the legs, opening the hips, reaching. And then square the hips down and bring the feet back together. And this time we'll come into a squat. So if you have a block and you need it, just place it so that you can sit on the block and come down. And the forearms again are making one long line between the knees, so the arms are inside the knees. And maybe you can come off the block and just feel what it feels like to support yourself on your feet, really rooting down through all the edges of your feet. And release the hands down and lift the hips. And bring the toes in front of the heels, hip distance apart again. And this time wing the arms back and interlace the fingers behind the back. And release the neck and the head, extending through the crown of the head so that the back is long, natural curves. Lift the arms high away from the back. And again, release the neck. Straightening the legs, forward bend. Release the arms down. And we'll step the left foot back and align it with the right heel. Align the heels on a single train track, bending the right knee deeply. Windmill the arms up and over and come into warrior two. And lengthen or shorten your stance so that it's a very comfortable warrior two. And extend the arms out front and back, gazing over the right arm. You can turn the head to gaze over the left arm just for a moment to see that it's aligned. And if you can see yourself in the computer, see if you can extend so that the torso is completely vertical. And then gaze again over the right arm. Breathing deeply. Just a way to check your stance and the alignment. Then take the right arm up and over and the left arm inside the left thigh. Peaceful warrior. Gazing up at the right hand. Breathing deeply here. And straightening the right leg. Reaching forward as if you're trying to get something on a low shelf in front of you. Side bend to the right. It's easiest if you look to the right. Look to the left as you side bend. And then bring the back of your hand inside the right leg, just so it's touching and making a closed loop. And draw the right hip under the left and take the left arm up. Find your stability here. If this doesn't feel stable, sometimes a block is helpful. I like to place it inside my right leg, but outside is okay too. And the idea is we're side bending here. So it's a bit of a twist, triangle pose. And as if someone's pulling you up by the left arm, rise up again and quarter turn the feet to the side of the mat with the outside edges of the feet parallel, and straighten the legs. Hands to the hips and lift the heart and the gaze for a little bit of a back bend, a gentle back bend here. And then sliding the hands down the sides of the legs, taking a forward fold, reaching through the crown of the head, extending the spine, and hinging only at the hips. We're not rounding the spine down. And then release the neck and the head once you've reached your forward fold. And turning the heels in, maybe toe heeling in a few steps. with the toes facing out and the knees directly over the toes. Bend the knees very deeply. Horseshoe the hands of the knees and rise up with a long spine. And cactus the hands. You may need to find a different stance, so it's okay to move your feet and settle into goddess pose. You can sway a bit from side to side, dancing the goddess and sinking the hips down. And then extending the arms, straightening the legs, reaching through the crown of the head. Spread the fingers as wide as you can, really opening the hands way up. Five-pointed star. And then bringing the arms to the side again. Turn to the front of the mat and just step forward. And find mountain pose just for a moment. Settle into it. Releasing the shoulders. Releasing the buttocks. My teacher called this fluffy butt. Just trying to relax those butt muscles. We use them all the time, so sometimes it's good to just let them go. And then stepping back with the right leg, align the heels in a warrior two stance, bending the left leg, extending the arms front and back, and maybe bending deeper into the left leg. Check your alignments, gaze back, gaze forward, making the torso vertical, breathing deeply, strengthening the right leg, pressing the foot into the floor. And taking the right hand inside the right thigh, lift the left arm up overhead and gaze up, peaceful warrior. And straightening the left leg, reaching out, turning the chest towards the side of the mat, and reaching forward and side bending into triangle. The back of the left hand inside the left leg or on a block, inside or outside the leg. And the right arm comes up, and maybe we even turn to gaze up at the right hand. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Tuck the left hip under the right. Pull it forward. Strong legs. Rooting down to the feet. Really feeling the feet pressing into the floor. And then windmill the right arm back and around to frame the left foot. Come up onto the toes of the right foot and step the left foot back to down dog once again. And just take a couple of breaths, a couple of resting breaths here. If you prefer child's pose for resting, you can take that. And then begin to walk the hands back toward the feet, bending the knees deeply, and bringing the toes, the big toes to touch, and the outside of the feet parallel. Bend the knees deeply and rise up into fierce pose. Lifting the arms into a high V. Again, try spreading the fingers and opening the hands as much as possible. And then release the hands into seed mudra. Sinking the hips maybe a little lower. Breathing deeply. and straightening the legs. And we'll step off the mat now for some standing balance poses. And today we'll just be taking tree pose and eagle. So with the right hand on the wall today, root down through the right leg, strengthen the right hip, and bring the left knee to chest. Squeezing it in. Maybe you can interlace your fingers under the left knee and circle the left ankle in both directions. Squeezing it in. And then turning this into your tree pose, whether that's with the foot kickstanded against the right ankle, on the right calf, or on the right thigh. So the left foot is on the right thigh. Maybe bending, allowing a slight bend in the right knee. Can press down with the left hand on the left knee. And this brings the foot and the thigh together, so really strengthening that connection. And then lifting the left arm, growing our branches. You can take Om Mudra, which is just bringing the forefinger and the thumb together and extending the other three fingers. And breathing here, lifting the gaze maybe a little further up the wall, keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then we'll turn the left knee forward and extend the foot, the leg, for 3 breaths. And crossing the left leg over the right, bending the knees deeply. Bring the left arm under the right. So whichever leg is on top, that side arm goes under the other arm. So left leg is on top, left arm is underneath the right. And sinking back into the hips, we lift the arms up in the air and lift the gaze, even as we're sinking down through the lower body, extending through the crown, through the arms, and then squeeze the arms in and extend once again. Up and away. Straightening the legs, unraveling everything, and shaking it out, and maybe turning so that your left your left hand can be high on the wall or on the back of a chair. Bring the right knee to chest. Root down through the left leg, really drawing that left hip in, and maybe you can interlace the fingers under the right knee and circle the right ankle in both directions. And squeeze that knee in. And then turn this into your tree pose. Whatever you did on the other side, find the same alignments, pressing the right foot into the left leg, just not on the left knee. So we don't want to press from the side of the knee. And you can hand on the right knee and rise up through the crown of the head, and then grow your branches, maybe taking Om Mudra. I like to have a very slight bend in the left knee so that it's not locked. This helps me press the thigh and the foot together, kind of opening that right knee a little bit more than it was. Strong left leg. And then turning the right knee forward, extend the right leg for 3 breaths. And crossing the right leg over the left, kickstanding, or you can wrap the right ankle around the left calf. And then bring the right arm under the left, winding the arms up and sinking down through the hips first, then lifting the arms up. Lift the gaze, squeezing everything into the midline, the legs and the arms, strengthening. And then drawing the elbows toward the chest, squeezing in, and inhale the arms back up and away. And unraveling everything, shaking it out. Take the legs wider than hip distance, pretty wide, and just swing the arms from the shoulders, round and back. And the heels might come off the floor. Keep the knees kind of soft and bent, just releasing everything. And we'll come back to the mat, the back of the mat, with your feet about hip distance apart. And then lift the arms up and overhead and swan dive forward. Coming into another forward bend. Catch the back of your legs, whether this is the calves, the ankles, or the heels, and release the neck. And straighten the legs a little bit more than you did the last time. They don't have to be rigid. You don't have to lock the knees, but keeping the spine long and lifting the hips up. That's the most important part. And then walking the hands forward, coming back to down dog. Find your down dog just for a breath or two here. And we'll lift the left leg up in the air and open the hip, bend the left knee. And if you'd like to take, I forgot what this is called, you can step the left foot behind the right and flip your dog and lift so both knees are bent and feet are firmly on the floor, and then the left arm is lifted. Then lift the hips and then come back around to down dog. And then we'll take the left knee to chest and then just put the knee at the center of the mat, and then we'll bring the right knee directly behind it, coming into cow face pose. So your knees are aligned at the center of the mat, and find a block or a blanket to sit on if your hips don't come down all the way to the floor, which for most of us, it's pretty challenging. And so then the feet are flexed and out to the side. And, you can adjust so that the legs are comfortable. And the knees are stacked directly on top of each other for cow face pose. And just reaching up through the crown of the head, lift the chin slightly, maybe even pressing it back a little bit. And if you have a strap, you can sort of throw the end of the strap over your right shoulder and bring your left arm behind you and either catch the strap or reach the right arm up And the right arm can catch the other side of the strap and pull together, or you can interlace the fingers behind the back. If that works for you, maybe only your fingers touch. And then bring the right forearm directly behind the head so that your head is still centered, but now your elbow, your right elbow is somewhat close to being directly behind the head. And again, reaching up through the crown, keeping the lower back coming in and breathing here. And releasing the arms. And we'll take our little trick, keep the strap handy if you used it on the other side, and just tuck the toes, come forward, and lift up onto your feet, and then walk your hands around to the right, and coming all the way around, keep walking the hands around until you come back to the center. And now the right knee is on top, and lower the left knee to the floor. And sit back onto your block blanket or floor and align the knees comfortably. And then you can throw your strap over the left shoulder and bend the right arm with the palm facing to the back. Catch the strap or bring that right arm to the center of the back. And then take the left arm up and over and catch the strap or fingertips and pull. And then make sure your gaze is directly forward. Lift the corners of your mouth and align the left arm behind the head. Cow face pose. And release the arms. And we'll just extend the right leg out and extend the left leg out and come off of your block. And we'll take some seated forward bends. So remove the flesh from under the buttocks and firm the legs, flex the feet, and press into the arms right next to the hips. And come into Jalandhara Bandha. You can even bring a little Mula Bandha in here, staff pose. Breathing deeply. And lower the hips back down, take the arms up and overhead, and hinging it at the hips. When you've hinged forward as far as is comfortable for you without rounding the spine, just lower the hands to the legs. Keep reaching through the crown of the head, maybe bending the knees just slightly, or you can just keep walking the hands farther forward as long as you're not rounding the spine. And breathe. And coming back up, we'll lift the knees up in the air and coming into our finishing poses. So find your seat right in the middle of the mat so that when you come down, your head will be on the mat. And we'll just lift the heart and lift the gaze and then round down, exhaling slowly all the way to the mat. And first we'll just take the legs up in the air and flex and point the feet a few times. Can even curl your toes and then spread them as you're flexing and pointing. And then circle the ankles inward so your toes come together. And then take those circles in the opposite direction. And then bring the feet to the floor where the fingertips can just brush the backs of the heels. And you can take hold of the side of your mat for bridge pose, or you can just press the palms straight down. But take a few small cat-cows here. So inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Really lifting the back of the spine. And then on this inhale, arch the back and lift the hips up and interlace the fingers, or you can keep the palms on the floor and walk the shoulders and the arms closer together, and then press with the legs up and away. Keep a small arch under the neck, so maybe you're just looking straight up at the ceiling and the chin keeps up and away, but the chest is coming toward the chin. And using the strength of the legs, press up into the bridge pose. And breathe here. Deep belly breaths. Let the belly expand like a balloon. And releasing the hands and taking the shoulders back out from under. Lower the hips back to the floor. And we'll just come into happy baby. So draw the knees to the chest and then outside the arms, bring the arms inside the knees and catch the outside of the calves, ankles, or the feet. And keeping the tailbone down on the floor, pull down on the feet, pressing the knees away and down, breathing. And then we'll come right into a shoulder stand. You can bring your feet back to the floor or just curl the knees in and straighten the legs. And using the strength of the abdominal muscles and the arms, scoop the hips and straighten the legs. And the legs may not be straight up to the ceiling. That can be a little hard to maintain. So there's a slight angle in the legs and the feet are directly over the face. And you can again bring your elbows in closer, just a little bit at a time. Keep gazing straight up and keep that space under the neck so that the back of the neck isn't pressing into the floor. And once you're stable in half shoulder stand, you can close the eyes and envision a small flame at the belly button. And then allow the legs to come, you can open the eyes again and allow the legs to come overhead, and they may come all the way to the floor just to find plow pose for a moment, and then release the hips and place the hands, palms down on the floor, and lower the legs slowly all the way to the floor. And the palms are under the hips, so if you need to bend your knee and lift the hip one at a time to position really my wrists are directly under my buttocks, but it depends on the length of your arms and the length of your torso, exactly where they are. So your hands are under your buttocks or thighs, And the elbows are close together, and then lift up onto the elbows. Lift the heart up, arching the back, and then strong legs, pressing them together. Lower the top of the head to where the hair just touches the floor. So the weight is carried in the arms, and we're really opening the heart here. Big heart opener. Strong legs. You can even close your eyes here and breathe. Fish pose. And lifting the head, roll spine back down to the floor and bring the feet in and lift the hips up and release the hands. Take the arms out into a T and lift the hips and shift them 6 or 8 inches to the left. Draw the knees into the chest. If you like to have a blanket or a block under your right knees, right shins really, shins and knees, you can bring that next to you. And then with the knees lower to the floor, to the right, and walk the right shoulder out for a lying side twist. We'll gaze over the left arm, turn the head, try to keep the left shoulder on the floor. And once you find this twist, this is meant to be a very comfortable twist, you can close the eyes and relax. See if you can completely let go of all effort in the face and the legs, arms and chest. And before we lose our enthusiasm, as Rob says, bring the knees back up to center and shift the hips to the middle of the mat. And we'll take the blanket over to the right, to the left, and keep the arms out in a T. Shift the hips to the right and bring the knees and lower them to the floor on the left. Walk the left shoulder out from under and turn the head to gaze over the right arm. And once you find this twist, let go. Completely release all effort. Even the shoulders can relax down away from the ears, the eyebrows. And then we'll bring the knees back up to center, shift the hips to the middle of the mat, draw the knees to the chest just for a moment, maybe making small circles on the back, making circles with the knees on the ceiling in both directions, and stretch the legs long, one at a time, to the corners of the mat. And point the toes towards, flex the feet and point the feet towards each other, and then just allow them to flop out. Bring the arms to about 45 degrees from the body, maybe 30, just comfortably. Shavasana. If you're cold, you can spread your blanket over yourself. And coming into your natural breath, not trying to control anything, just allowing the breath to come and go. Observing your breath. Maybe feeling a sense of gratitude for yoga asana. And then bringing some sensation, flexing the feet, the toes, and the hands, and stretching the arms overhead. Rolling onto your right side if it's morning and left if it's evening or afternoon. And bringing the knees in toward the chest, rising up to a seated position. Find your seat on the blanket, maybe with the legs crossed the opposite way of when you started. And taking the arms up overhead, palms together. Touch the thumbs to the forehead, think well. The lips, speak well. And the heart, love well. And we'll close with our mantra that all beings be happy and free. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today in our practice